Tammy, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and giving me a testimonial of what your experience was working with me. This is so exciting. And even within the past couple of days, it sounds like some really exciting things have happened. I wanted to start off with a question. What made you consider reaching out to me?
So ironically, you've been all over my Facebook feed. You're going on live on Instagram. I see you every day, and it's no secret we've been connected for a long time. And really, I was reaching out just to celebrate you and connect with you and see where your growth is taking you. And somehow that conversation turned into a coaching call, which was great. But what's so funny about that is as we were talking and we're connecting and you're updating me with what's going on with your life. And of course, you're naturally interested in what's going on with my life. And I was just starting to share little tidbits, like there are struggles, there's downs. You automatically went into your coaching mode. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, look at this girl. She's going to coach me now. And I was quite amused with it on one hand and thinking, like, I resist that. And I'm sure people pick up on it and I don't, because I think my ego doesn't want to hear the truth. And the truth was I was stuck. And I didn't know I was stuck because I didn't want to hear it. And you were so persistent and you were so gentle. You're like, I'm just going to do what I do with you, Tammy. I'm just going to ask you questions. I'm going to see where it goes. And by the end of that conversation, we had a whole whiteboard of stuff because I'd like to doodle while I brain fart or, I just throw everything out and I like to see what sticks. But even before we got to that whole whiteboard, I should just come back and say, when I was at first amused and letting you ask your questions, I was just playing along initially at first going, yeah, I'll answer a few questions. And then that will quiet her need to coach me because I think I know what I'm doing. I have since learned that the ego does not like to hear the truth. But partway through that process, I said to myself, Tammy, what would happen if you just released and let in this help that is coming your way and just take it for what it's worth and see where it goes? Then I really was more authentic in all of your questions and really going, okay, maybe I need to look at this. There's some really key things that are coming up here. And maybe this call was actually more fate than it was reconnecting. It was something I needed that I didn't know.
Love that you mentioned that. In fact, I get chills as you're talking about it. And I just wanted to mention that early on, I did ask permission.
You did? Oh, you did.
Absolutely. Did ask permission.
But my ego was amused, going, yes, okay, let's do this. Let's play along. If I were to be totally honest, when I reflected back on it, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really brave of you to be able to admit that, first of all, to yourself. And I can't tell you how much I value you being able to speak it out loud and to share that with me.
Listen, it gives me goosebumps too. Like I think 3 times already I've had goosebumps just talking to you because I think there's so much power in putting out in the world what you have been ignoring internally for so long.
What was that process like as I was coaching you?
Well, when I finally gave in, when I was like, okay, Tammy, like, let's not resist it. Obviously there's a reason she's asking you these questions. Let's not be so pretentious that there's nothing here for you. There's obviously something here. And I mean, truly the intention when I reached out to you was not for that purpose. Maybe that was a little bit of the mindset in like, well, no, I didn't call to be coached. I don't want you to feel like obligated to help me through this stuff, but that's where we went. Our natural desire is to help people. And we've connected on that level long ago. And we have that similar passion.
Yes.
So that process of asking me questions and making me answer them. I soon realized there was a lot of value there. And that's when I went to my whiteboard as we were talking and I was just spitballing everything on my whiteboard. And at the end of it, I sent you a picture and I should have made that one on my screen so I could show everybody in the back, if you're going to use this for a video, just how much value I got out of that, because there were some really strong negative words on that board. There were words such as, I feel shackled. I feel like I have no freedom. I feel, what else? I have actually a picture of it here so I can refer to it. Restricted, boundaries. Like there was such strong negative words on that board. And I thought, wow, where is this coming from? And I knew I had a block. And even though I'm serving people, my metrics were not about their outcomes. We had discovered that my metrics all revolved around money. And every time I talked about success lately, it was about money. And that didn't feel good inside of me. And I didn't know where I had lost my way.
So what surprised you most about the experience?
I think the thing that surprised me the most was that even though, like when we kind of stood back and looked at all the stuff on my whiteboard, well, I was looking at it and we we're still talking, the same thing that I was using to define my success by was also what I feared. The
Mm,
reflection that has happened since then, like this conversation we had was the catalyst to so much more. Like I think I called you the next day or maybe even later that day and I was like, oh, I'm on fire. I'm so excited. But I had asked that question in our conversation about, and I actually said to you, have you ever asked yourself, why do you fear success? Is that a block for you? Because it was something I was kind of contemplating lately going, do you fear success? And what would that look like if you were successful? And again, it attached to money. So I had money on both sides of that
yes.
equation. And I thought, why do I fear money? And what I've really kind of been working on, and I'm still is going to be a process, I'm sure, is that I grew up poor.
Yes.
And for me, money is a measure of not being poor. But I also didn't want to be like the others who were so rich that they were, like showing it off. I think I feared becoming something I never was when I was younger, as if it was unattainable, unachievable, and it would look like a slap in the face to maybe where I had come from, like to not
Mm-hmm.
honor that I was poor and I had to struggle and I had to work for everything. So it's still even ruminating, like that last thought just populated now as we were talking.
One of the things that I love about money is that it allows us to become more of who we really are. When you figure out who you really are, and you are a powerful woman who focuses on connection and building relationships, that money will only allow you to be more of that and not the things that you fear.
It totally makes sense. It frees up my time to do the things that I'm meant to do, to not worry about the other stuff. Yeah, like it still is a process of, I'll be unpacking this for months, I'm sure. And I'm
Yeah.
sure once I unpack it to another level, I'll be like, oh my God, look at that. Look what's in the suitcase.
Which I think is brilliant and a really great segue to my next question for you. What are the results that you've gained from that conversation, from working
Oh,
with me?
like I have been on fire ever since. I have, and I told you I was going to continue to ruminate about this money thing and where does it come from? So that just caused me to source out podcasts and listen to other people and hear their perspectives of different things, which has led me to more people and led me to more people every morning now. Part of my professional development, which I've kind of walked away from for so long because I thought I got this nailed. I know what I'm doing. I've walked through conflict. I've helped others achieve success. And I kind of abandoned my own internal desire and need to continue to hear other stories and to hear how they've journeyed through it and how do they talk about it. So I have now every morning, I got goosebumps again, girl. Every morning I have listened to somebody else's journey or story or perspective. And each one of those moments has stimulated a very creative session where I've come home and I have taken the lessons and I've looked at some of the stuff I teach. And what I noticed is, because I had shared with you, I don't know if I'm getting off track, but I
That's
had
okay.
shared with you how when you create something that you love and then it feels heavy and a burden because it doesn't feel like joy anymore, I
Yes.
had realized it's because I was still on that poor side of life. I was focusing on, there go the chills again. I was focusing on the have-nots. And I looked at all the places the groups I belonged to try and find people. This was actually just yesterday that this came to light. So this is pretty cool. And all the groups I belonged to where I thought my target people was not the right place because they were all stuck. I mean, I talk about stopping bullying. I was in all these groups about stopping bullying, but the conversations were not about looking for answers. They were looking about being right. And that was so disconnected
Yes.
from what I want to teach people. So I've since removed myself from all of those groups because that's why things were feeling so heavy. I was feeling like I was reaching out to people who weren't able to see possibilities and who just wanted to be right. And they were in some pretty dark places, and I've been there. I
Yeah.
don't want to go back to those dark places. I don't want to share someone else's pain in that moment. I want to see them on the upward swing. And that's where my magic is for them, because I can catalyze their life.
I think that's brilliant because it sounds like you've been able to narrow down your niche even more and focus it on the people who will get the best results from what you do.
You know what's so funny about the niche thing is I think you even asked me about the niche. Who do you serve or something along there? And I always thought it had to be nurses because that's my background. That was one of the defining criteria of the people I served. And as I'd mentioned, you catalyzed me to look at other people, and someone else was talking about their niche, and not once did they talk about occupation or gender, anything like that. All characteristics didn't matter in her world. And I thought, aha, I've been so focused on a characteristic and trying to fit it into nursing where I know where it would work and it exists, but that's not my target market. The qualification of a job title is not my target market. It's people who are feeling frustrated and who are feeling like no one's listening to them and who are feeling like they're looking for the answer to this gap. Like when I messaged you the other day, I was like so excited because I realized all of my work has been driving towards connection. And all I ever talked about was conquering conflict, which has a real different feel and a different vibe to it. It has this like you're going into battle and you need your armor and here's how you do it to win. Whereas the connection, which is what I've always driven towards, was missing in the concept of it. Super excited. I've gotten away from nurses and characteristics of gender, and I've really focused on where are they on that continuum? Are they stuck here like all those people in that workplace bullying group? They're not my people because they're still stuck. Yeah. Are they over here where I am? No, because they're going to be allies and they're out there helping others. They're somewhere in the middle, and I've kind of really honed in on that.
That's brilliant. I'm chills.
I know, many times.
All down my back, down my arms, just magical. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see where you go with that. What do those results mean to you at a practical level?
Well, at a practical level, I'm not stuck anymore. I have been working every day on my business, reconceptualizing it, even though the foundation was good, shifting, making those micro changes to really communicate the value that I bring to people and to communicate that it's about connection, possibility, potential, and it gets rid of the heavy. And I think that's what I was battling with. That's what I was stuck with for so long, was the heaviness of conquering conflict. I'm super excited about, I actually sat down and wrote myself a letter, a 3-month, dear future Tammy in 3 months. And what was so magical about that, I just let the pen flow, keyboard. I just let it flow. And by the end, it was 3 pages long. And the only metric in there about money was about how many people would be in my program at what price point. That's it. Everything else in those 3 pages was about connection and driving towards potential and connecting and helping others achieve the same thing. And it made me feel like I wasn't such a Grinch after all. Like I wasn't just about money.
I love that. And that is a really great segue into what do those results mean to you on an emotional level, on an energetic level?
Yeah, I feel aligned. I feel realigned. Like when I first started out on this journey of starting my coaching business, I definitely felt aligned, but with where I was in life, I was aligned with that person. And even though I was still focused on connection, I was still stuck in that mindset of you have to be ready for the next battle. You need to be prepared because there's always going to be conflict out there. That's where I was. And now I feel like I'm like miles ahead of that person. And that's a massive transformation, girl.
I don't know if you can tell, but my eyes are a little shiny.
I know.
Eyes are a little shiny. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I am very excited too. I feel like the world better brace itself because I am coming.
So what is your vision of the future? What's possible for you now?
Oh, I mean, everything's possible. I feel like that one stuck block, moving that over was a domino effect for everything else in life. And if I can give an example, this is a relationship that is in my life currently that I have been stuck with because I had this stuck mentality. I keep saying to myself, I'm having a hard time making a connection. Ironically, I mean, it's always been about connection.
Yeah.
And what I've realized is even I had to go back. So you not only were a catalyst in my thinking about my work and how I frame things, but even in my personal life, because I've had to go, damn, Tammy, you've been stuck here for a very long time. And you are making it their problem, which is something I teach. Like that's not what I teach. It's about internal. And I had to do the work in that relationship as well and go, what am I doing? And I realized by entering into that relationship, every time I saw them, I was already setting the stage and I was going, oh, this is going to be hard. I'm struggling to make a connection every single time. And when they would leave, I'd be like, massive exhale going, oh, that was so difficult. And I would complain about how we couldn't connect. I only just realized that it's my fault. So not even in my business life, but in my professional life, I'm like, wow, she's actually tried to share with me a lot of deep personal stuff. And because I didn't agree with it, or I didn't think it was the right pathway, I was trying to change her to my vision. This is that ego. You've untapped. You have unleashed a beast.
I feel the energy coming across airwaves. The
Yeah.
magic is happening. And the amazing thing is that there is so much more possible for you now.
I have reached out to this girl and I've asked if I could have a call with her because she's not on my phone list. It's my son's girlfriend. They've been together for probably about a year, and I have struggled for this entire year. And you know what? That's really reflective of my struggle in my business because I feel like I was struggling there as well. And this whole process of you just asking those questions and coaching me and recognizing that there was a block and not, you were just like, is unrelenting the right word? You were unrelenting. You were like not giving up on me. You weren't letting me take the easy way out. You continued to
Yeah, I call
pursue.
that being a courageous coach, asking the hard questions.
Yeah. Yeah. You did that work. And then that just opened up the world for me. And I didn't even know I needed it. That's the great thing about this. I didn't know I needed it. I didn't know I wanted it. And I was resistant to it. So I would say to anybody who's watching this, if you feel like you have all the answers, if you feel like you resist people when they show up in your life to help you, ask yourself, what is your goal? What is the purpose of resisting when this person could be a catalyst for change like this?
I don't think you can see, but my lips are quivering because I'm such a beautiful testimony of what your experience was like, the transformation, your success story. And you illustrated it so beautifully just a couple of minutes ago. What is when you make that transformation in one part of your life, it automatically transfers to the other parts of your life. So when you make
Absolutely.
that transformation in like your business vision, in what's possible within your business, all of a sudden you start to see side effects of that affecting your life in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And I don't know if I've said this because I kind of go around in circles and I go off on a tangent, but I've reached out to this girl, as I think I was starting to say, because I want to apologize. And she's kind of like, what are you apologizing for? And text back, I'm like, no, I just need to have a conversation with you because I want to apologize for what I did. I set the stage to be unsuccessful. And what I failed to do was to recognize that it was me. And I think this is going to change the dynamics in our relationship forever because, as I said, she was trying to share and I just wasn't listening. I can't wait, actually. I think I'm excited to have this conversation with her. She may walk out of this house and go, what's wrong with your mom? Like, she's weird because she's 21. Who talks like that when they're 21? But I'm excited to have that because I think this is going to be this is the connecting, is me saying, hey, it's been my fault. I've been an ass, you know?
That's spectacular. So
Yeah.
you said that you wrote a letter to yourself from your ideal future self in 3 months. So what is the vision? What do you see happening in your life? What are you working on within the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, so I'm going to be sitting down in my program and looking at the progression through it, the wording through it, and just really source out what has a negative connotation and flipping it to the positive connotation. So I'm going to take some time away from the course in terms of delivering it and coaching people and really spend probably the next month, I think. You know, I'm a go person. I want to jump in today and register people today because I'm so excited for what's going to happen. But I have to rein myself in. I'm going to take about a month, I've decided. Every day I'm going to listen to another podcast. I'm going to let it fire me up. I'm going to see where my mind goes and integrate these new positive vibes throughout it. Because when people come in, I don't want them just to be excited that they can conquer conflict. I actually want them to be excited that they can connect.
Yeah.
I'm going to rebrand it. And that's a bit of a challenge because I can get stuck in, you know, the names and stuff, relationships and connect pathways. I'm still like not troubleshooting. I'm still spitballing the name, but it's going to have a different edge to it and a different vibe. And it's so exciting. I actually can't wait to see what happens. January 9th is when my letter was written for. And on January 9th, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to open this letter again, even though it's on my desk and I read it a lot. But I'm going to sit down on January 9th and go, wow, you achieved more than what you actually said you were going to achieve.
That is the power of connecting to your ideal future self.
Yeah. I can't wait.
The power.
Like that gives me goosebumps.
And we can collapse time. We can collapse time, and you are doing it within 3 months, which is brilliant and exciting. And I hope that we can come back again and have another conversation, celebrate the things that you've been able to accomplish within these 3 months.
Yeah, I'm going to be writing another one on January 9th. Like when I celebrate what I did then, I'm writing another one for 3 months out. It was such a powerful experience. And again, normally I would have resisted that. I'd have been like, okay, it's an activity. I'll go through the motions. But because of talking with you, having that opportunity to present afterwards, I was ready to be authentic with it and do some real work and some real like forecasting and where do you want to be, and that manifesting and visualization. That's why I say, like, you have unleashed, you were the catalyst that has made all of this change possible.
So what would you tell others who are considering working with me in the Energetic CEO?
So I would tell them to do it. First of all, to abandon your hesitations, to invest in yourself, to believe in yourself, and to let the process work through you. And then to enjoy the riches that come from it, to enjoy the abundance that comes from it. You know, as you had mentioned, it doesn't just affect that one part of your life. It has a pervasive feeling throughout every other aspect of your life, and just to let that work through you. And I think it's going to show up in magnificent ways in your life.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I'm so excited for everything that you're creating in your life now. And it's all there for you already.
I just got to step in.
Just got to step in.